1st of May. We'll talk about that in just a bit. The venue, Yeah, and I remember, if you want, you can call me on 0719012600. The hashtag is After Hours on Spice. You've won some serious awards out here. Globally, Kwanzaa. From New York all the way to Zambia. What have you learned about yourself with all these awards, yeah? And did you ever see yourself getting to these levels?
I'm going to say yes and no. And I'm going to say, actually, the turning point possibly happened with African Movie Awards in Nigeria with Nairobi Half-Life. So we all went as a team for the awards. And I remember we were doing, I was nominated as Best Art Director for Nairobi Half-Life. And I remember we were doing the rehearsals the day before. And I remember being asked, Barbara, have you written your acceptance speech? It was not in my mind.
Yeah.
I was just coming to Lagos and I was going to, then I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Then she just said, because the producer, she said, it's good to have something, at least, in case that happens.
Yeah.
But it had not entered my mind.
You just say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, my team. Guys, for the sleepless nights.
Thank you.
Thank you to my country, Kenya.
Yeah. In full transparency.
Yeah.
So even before the awards started, because they take people in, and I had seen what the rehearsals were.
Yeah.
I was in the green room eating plantain because everybody else was sitting. Then I heard, and I was like, "Oh, the song is going to end. Let me get my, move towards my seat." So I entered the main room as the seat, and we're going to start live. As soon as I see it, they say, "And we are going to start with production design."
You're like, "Oh my God!"
And the list, and they start reading the nominees, and then they say, "And the winner is Nairobi Half-Life, Barbara Minishi." I was just like, I stood up. I went to the stage. And I said, thank you. I thanked the entire team because, again, it's a team.
Yeah.
It takes a team to make everything true. And one of the things that I said was just like, this is a reminder to all of us to live a full life. And I remember leaving that room. And sometimes you say something and it's also to yourself.
Yeah.
And I got that award, and it was just like, okay, cool. But it was very, very clear. You get an award, life goes on. You don't get an award, life goes on. And I'm the kind of person who had learned to discern, because for me, it's not all about flashy things. It's something, again, I would say perhaps the house I grew in, the family I grew in, it's one thing that I learned to discern. It's not the things that you have that make you who you are. And it's just a thing. And I think maybe it came through also growing up 844. Remember when people do KCP, KCSE, and people are like, my grades! And I'm just like, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Who are you as a person, as a character? Because for me, it's always been character-based.
Yeah.
Was it lovely to have won that? Absolutely. Yeah. But then moving on along, it's one of those things where I realized, again, I appreciate accolades. It is wonderful being recognized for the work that you have done. But also one of the things I needed to unlearn was I had gotten very comfortable with not being recognized and doing my own thing. So this is now why for me it wasn't such a big, but I remember at one time I had to pivot and be like, Barbara, accept that.
It's interesting you put it like that because first of all, I'm not so surprised because I was reading about a very amazing author in the 18th century in England. And this guy was so big, but the moment people found out how he looked like was the beginning of the end. He got serious depression. He couldn't stand being in crowds. He didn't even want guys to thank him for the amazing book that he had. I forget his name. Yeah. So, you first of all, you said you're an introvert. Really.
Okay. That's one of the. That is a half truth. The fact that part of me was just like your whole thing is about connecting to people and everything. What I do know is I honor my rhythms. And so my rhythms require silence and taking time apart.
Yeah.
But then also when I need to show up, I do show up. But it's not about being loud.
Yeah.
But it's about, presence and awareness.
Yeah. So now that's going to lead me to my next question. Are you open to reviews, by the way? Do you read comments on your social media when you post your work? You're like, you know what? I really don't need this kind of feedback. I don't feel anything. Negative, positive, I'm still going to create.
Negative, positive, I'm still going to create. That's how it's always been. And also because I went through a period of being invisible. I'm just going to say my dark room period. And I got that, again, as you say, feedback sometimes is good. But then I find the comment section can kill people, can kill their dreams. And this is now why I feel like in the social media setting, if you depend too much on reviews and comments, it's going to go this way. Mm-hmm. Then again, people have their biases.
Yeah.
Look, what kind of movies do you like?
Really old school movies. Like let me see, what am I watching right now? I don't have a specific genre.
Okay.
Or
just say one movie.
One movie that I really like, Scarface.
Okay.
Tony
Olivia,
Montana.
tell me a movie that you really like.
Ooh, wow. That's a hard one. I'm going to go with my very, very classic Sound of Music.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. Scarface, Sound of Music. Then somebody decides to pitch them against each other. And you're like, two very different movies.
I know, right?
Two very different audiences, but they each have their merits. And I got to understand, and I was just like, hang on. By the way, when we're talking about reviews, where is it coming from and for who, for what? If you're in a learning situation and you have a mentor and they're coming to you from an objective viewpoint, and I have asked for the review, absolutely yes.
Yeah.
If you work in a setting that demands review and performance, absolutely yes. For my artwork and for the work that I get to do, there's specific work. So this is now why, because of the way that I work, I'm just like, it's going to land how it needs to land. In fact, if you come and see a picture and that's how you translated it, Kevin, I have no business telling you.
It's not on you.
Yeah, you come in, you see Scarface, it's fine. Olivia will come in and be like, Sound of Music, and I'm just like, you're both absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I do, that was a little pet peeve for a while, because sometimes I look at comments and I'm just like, suddenly everybody's a professional critic on somebody.
Kenyans,
Kenyans, I said, but this is now why I say and I praise, because I always say, it's like, we are one of the most articulate, concise, the comedy. You can literally write a movie from a comment section.
Yeah, it's true.
And so sometimes I'm just
somebody wrote a song of a comment section. Yeah.
And I'm just like, so again, as I say, I got to this point where I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just say, okay, will the comment section nourish me? No.
Yeah.
Have you seen people's attitudes change because of? Yes. So I said yes. So I remember telling myself, I'm going to neutralize myself about it. There are some comments that will come, and this has come from the heart,
it's
and
true,
you know it.
Yeah, it's true.
And but there's some you're just like, you're just making the comment or making the comment, and you want to get to 10.
So I was told, if you're going to give an artist and you're respectful towards them, legit feedback.
Yes.
There's something called the sandwich. That's, it. So you start with positive, negative, and I think that works most of the time. So I was going to talk about Enchantment, this new chapter of yours.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a transmedia anthology series centered on identity, shadow narratives, and a word I can't even pronounce.
Psychogeography.
That one. My first time to encounter that word.
But you said it in the beginning when we had this conversation. You actually defined it.
Oh,
remember how you said we are affected by the spaces we inhabit?
Yeah, it's true. Oh, so that's what it's about, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
So
you know. You see what we're talking about.
Shadow narratives.
Yes.
These are the shadow narratives, yeah? What are some of those narratives that you had to confront in your life, for example?
The one, I would say the biggest one was this identity of what a woman is. You know how somebody comes and says, be a true African woman. Or they'd be like, be a Kenyan woman. And you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time when I was much younger, And I was in a social setting, and some gentleman was just like, "So what's your name?" And I said my name. Then he's like, "But what's your last name?" Then I was just like, "Why?" He's like, "I want to know which area you come from so that I know what kind of a woman you are." And in my head,
What?
it's like,
Wow.
Hey.
then I'm just like, "Oh, that's not going to help."
Yeah.
Then I realized, because we have this thing, and I'm just going to say tribalism is a thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Globally, but also within Kenya in our specific ways, if you want to put it culturally. And if you look at the stereotypes people have, they're also the shadow narratives that people have. Yeah. If you think about the archetypes we have, the artist has an archetype. What is it? The starving artist. Yeah.
Wow, that one
That's
had
a shadow
lot.
narrative,
Yeah.
actually. If you think about the ruler, then there's a dictator. So that's the opposite field. So that's the shadow narrative. So whatever archetype there is, there's a shadow narrative to that. So this is now when people run, they say, "Oh," then I say, "But you have the sun and the moon, right? You have light and shadow." Understand that's a natural part of life, and we all have the shadow. And for me, I just said, I need to allow the shadow to be my ally. There's one thing I remember used to saying about integrity and all that stuff. And I was just like, Barbara, there's no person who doesn't have any flaws in the world, including you. So when sometimes people go with holier, I'm holy, I do not. And then I'm just like, your shadow will demand to speak.
Yes.
And
at the right time.
Yes. And if you repress and you don't meet it, because there are these uncomfortable truths we all have within us, and there's some things you will not say out aloud.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I remember there was even a time when I was just like, you know how you're just like, violence doesn't solve anything? Then sometimes you're just like, but I want to be violent.
You know.
And if you don't meet that, and talk to it or allow it to move through,
it's true.
It festers and it takes on now another dimension. So for me, I always say the shadow has its merits. It's not that everything that's in the shadow is wrong. When you're talking about photography and film, or even when you think about film needs to be processed in the shadow.
Yeah.
We grew up in the womb. The womb is a place of the shadow. When you think about ideas marinating, they have to be marinating in the dark. The dark is such a wide space for all of us. And to be the person that we are, the character development we need to go through, it means you must meet and move through your shadow. Take responsibility for it, not other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
love the shadow.
But unfortunately, some people never get out of that space. Yeah, the dark. Yeah. Kwanzaa artists. I've seen a lot of stories. Even some of my friends that I've known who are artists.
Yeah.
Man, they went through a dark hole.
Yeah.
Back, I'm just like, you need some help, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this thing, I think maybe there's an extra level of sensory perception that artists have.
Yeah.
And you really, really feel deeply. But sometimes, so this is now why with the 13th Path, because for me, I came through that period, and again, as I told you, I got all those 3 projects. The Fujifilm GFX Challenge, Inheritance, the film, and Utawala all came at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was showing me the things I had learnt about the shadow, because all of them also involved aspects of meeting the shadow and moving through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last project I remember doing especially with because the camera had to go back, was called Invoking the Soft, because I remember saying, what now? You've come through so much death. And even if we think about life right now, there's so much grief going on in the world. I personally lost my father on World Photography Day, August 19th last year. And I remember the things your body does, and there are spaces and places you go and you cannot articulate that. And sometimes, you're just like, and by the way, it sucks. Some people are going through things and it's tough and it's hard. And sometimes you're just like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I cannot do that. We all go through that. I remember just looking at it, and again, it's not, because sometimes some people say, oh, just pray about it or be strong, and sometimes I'm just like, shut up, So this is now why when we talk about listening, there's sometimes we can see that something that can save a life. This is why I talked about listening can save a life.
Yeah.
And the shadow. And it's not about, because also there's the aspect, some people take the shadow on another level and they play with it. And sometimes you're just like, ah. But I remember Invoking the Soft, which is going to be showcased in the exhibition, because for me it was the 13th path to enchantment.
Yeah.
I got to Invoking the Soft, and I was just like, you've come through this. Because sometimes when you've come through something that has nearly killed you, it has killed others. Yeah? But you're willing to be like, okay, I can begin again.
Exactly.
And I was just like, I've come from the 13th path, so what will my next 10 years look like? And I said, one of the things was that I keep on saying, I'm alive.
Yeah.
We are breathing. Yeah, with the breath that I have, with what I get to do and what I get to be, how can I look at life? Understanding, again, as I'm saying, I'm not bypassing the death, the horror, the grief, the violence, the change that's going on in the world right now, but I can choose to be enchanted by everything. And enchantment is just fully showing up in life.
Yeah, that chapter on the enchantment. So you go deep, obviously.
Yes.
Shadow narratives,
Yes.
identity.
Yes.
How do you think artists, new generation artists, can actually find meaning in their work? Just like you said, because of the fact that we're living in a very chaotic world nowadays, the AI manenos right now, everyone has an opinion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of negative energy going down, that I can imagine can affect an artist's sanity. So how can they actually find meaning in their work?
So on May 23rd, which is next Saturday, after the exhibition, I'm going to do an exhibition talk and walk through. So it's called Synthesis. So it's like a mini masterclass. If you're an artist, you can come in for it. We'll put up the registration link, but I'll be specifically talking about that because at least I have live pictures and films to show you how to start navigating that. Because at the end of the day, it'll be you versus yourself. I always say it's you versus yourself. But sometimes when they see proof that there will be periods in life, because even when you think about, we're not like Europe who has winter, summer, spring, but we do have our winters. If you plant a seed, you know there's a time you'll harvest, then there's a time the land will be fallow.
Yeah.
There's a time the land will be dry. There's a time the soil will need to be done again. Those are the seasons where I would say, welcome them. In fact, those are the seasons where I'm just like, break the rules.
Break the rules.
Break the rules. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I got was when I had started my MFA. And it was also that time I realized I had to stop because I couldn't. You know how you're just like, I thought I could do it by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, Barbara, you're self-employed. You can't do you know how you're like. Then I remember one of my professors, because I remember we were talking about work and the blockage was still going on. This was a few months before I made that choice. And then my professors asked me, they said, Barbara, have you ever failed? Then I said, failed? Then they said, fail big. Yeah. And I realized we grew up, if you think about African society, even going in school, people were punished for making mistakes. How can you get punished for making mistakes? And I realized, to be creative means to embrace failure, to take risks. But it's not failure in that I have failed, but it's allowing the experimentation and open process. Because with social media, everybody is so quick. They want to share. They want to get the accolades. You need that quiet time to allow something to shape up. That's why with all the workshops that I get to do, I always tell artists, create something for yourself. It is sacred to you. You are romancing your creativity. This is a thing that you have that is yours, that you don't have to explain to the world. Because doing that work when I was going through what I was going through, I was carrying my camera and I would be walking. Even, I will say, during my father's funeral, I was carrying a camera. It grounded me. It's not that I was taking pictures, but it was just, I was holding on to something, which was the one tool, the one piece of tool 20 years previously he had connected me to. So I always say, have something with you and you understand, because you understand, I'm not showing up for anyone. I'm not proving my worth or value for anyone, because also that's a distinction people need to get. Because when you also get to the core of why you're doing what you're doing, you have to tell yourself the truth. And a lot of artists don't do that at first, but you'll get to the point in the career, you'll be like, okay, so why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Then you're just like, then you'll get to the stage, oh yes, I wanted to be seen, I wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
Then when you understand, but what does being famous mean? That's why when you asked me about getting the awards, I got it very quickly. I was just like, oh, it's not about the awards, because you still have to be with yourself and work with yourself.
Yeah. You know, some people like to do, to create their work, their art for an audience.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you're saying you shouldn't do it for the audience.
No. You should do it.
Yeah.
You must do it.
Yeah.
We're in a time in the world, you absolutely, we must.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is absolutely necessary. But there's also the balance in which because there's also this thing where you think, I'll just do my stuff and I'll be discovered.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's an energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my first solo exhibition and I've been working for 25 years.
Yeah. What? Yeah, by the way, speaking of which, yeah, over 2 decades in the industry.
Yes.
That's a very long time.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the one truth you've realized working in this creative space in Kenya that you would like to educate younger creatives on?
I'm not going to say it in the terms of educating.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, if you're watching or listening to this, your voice, how you show up is so important. You know, when you say sometimes society and culture depends on it, it depends on it. People may have walls, but art will live on.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's songs, whether it's sculpture, who you are, your voice is important. There's so many things changing in the world. You have you have something unique. And this is why, again, I'm saying sometimes it's not recognized. I love doing my workshops because anytime I do a registration, I always tell them to send in a picture related to something.
Okay.
And then they get to talk about it.
Mm.
Kevin, every single time I have discovered new work from people, and they were not thinking about it like it's important. And it's just like, bang, and it's the kind of stuff you're just like, oh, and you see something and you're just like, you know how sometimes they say, but you know, the Kenyan industry or this industry, you know, there are so many powerful, like, exciting, visionary, innovative, bold people.
Mm.
Yeah. But the chance to get to do what they are good at, to develop that in the way that they can, without, again, as you're saying, interference or...
Yeah.
So I still always say, because I get it, there are fears. Again, as I say, art and fear, you'll always be in the car with that. There's also this thing about performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a natural stage and everybody must go through that stage. But you also need to understand and take the curtains away from yourself and recognize when you're performing and when you're showing up. You will know.
You wouldn't know, yeah?
You will know. But so there's this balance in which you're just like, okay, I get it. If sometimes you're going to do this thing for doing this thing, do it. But still cultivate. You know how you're just like, you can say, this is my dessert. Yeah? Or I'm marinating this. And it will take years to develop. And that's okay as I'm doing this other thing, because it's hand in hand. Because for me, this is why I'm saying everything in my life is integrated. That's why for me, there's no balance, because it will always feed into something.
Yeah.
And sometimes, not sometimes, all the times, especially with my work, I recognize they have such a long-term thing.
Yeah.
The fact that 10 years I started a Red Dress project, stopped it, and then 10 years later it came again. Or even some ideas that I have or written. I have a book that I started in 2003 when I started my journey. So I used to write ideas, take clippings from papers, do it. The other day I was looking back at it, I was just like, who is this? So one of the great things also I tell also people, anyone who comes for my work, I say, write. Yeah, I say, have a notebook, write.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're a photographer, I know sometimes you always want to be taking pictures. I'm just like, sketch, you know? Try new things, different things. Then also understand you don't have to make it automatically. You don't have to, you know how sometimes people are just like, monetize it. And sometimes they're just like, oh.
I was going to go there.
Yeah, monetize it. But then also play.
Yeah. Be playful.
We have forgotten how to play.
That's true. Because you know, it's interesting you put it like that, because I feel like the people who I feel like they put so much stress on the art because they feel like the art has to pay them.
Yeah.
It has to have some sort of monetary value. If not, then it's not good enough.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, give it a break, please. So this is now why I say there's that balance, because I get it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. People have to eat. People have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's no easy way to do this. And I have been through it. And I still go through it. But at the heart of it, going through this period just taught me, because I remember at one point I had gone through the process and I was getting frustrated. And then my friend reminded me, she said, Barbara, you're a photographer because you get commissions, or you're a photographer because you're a photographer. I said, okay, thank you for that reminder. Yeah. And again, as I say, each to his own, because we have different narratives. So I get where we can share each other. But for me, as I stand as an artist, it's showing these Because sometimes some people think, no, it only has to be this way. I'm just like, no. You can actually create an alternate path for yourself and your path. But it's not about being you and alone on your island. Enchantment for me, the 13th path was I.
Yeah.
Enchantment is we.
Uh-huh.
It's community building.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's spreading this thing because I'm just like, I wake up every morning and I'm just like, thank you. I'm having this conversation with you. We're sharing this space. I'm breathing. I'm just like, thank you. The reason I called my 10-year anthology project from Enchantment 7 Breaths in the season of soil, shadow, and skin is because when you think about breath, we only breathe once when we're born and once when we die. In between, it's always a cycle. Yeah. This space that we've had, if you think about the thousands of breaths you take in a day, and it's an abundance of breath. Yeah. When I think about sometimes an image, and I'm just like, how many breaths are held in this image, or even in this encounter that we've had? And I was just like, that it's been enchanted because it's your aliveness.
Yeah.
It's how you show up to the world. And again, it's not about, this is just like, aliveness also means grief sometimes and crying. It also means anger and rage.
I agree.
And meeting things you're very uncomfortable about not meeting through with it. Yeah. It's telling the truth. Like one of the favorite things I remember telling people, get comfortable with saying I don't know. I don't know why some people are scared of saying I don't know. If I don't know, I don't know. Teach me.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about Hierophany. That's how it's pronounced.
Hierophany.
Hey. Hauntings and homecoming.
Hierophany, hauntings, and homecoming.
Yeah, so I want you to expound on this homecoming part.
Homecoming.
Yeah. When is your homecoming? What are we talking about over here?
Homecoming was after I had gone through the 13th path, when I went through unlearning and relearning, because you have to do it. When you get successful to a point, you're even seeing it, whether a sports person or something, there's something that will work to a stage.
Yeah.
And you master it, then you have to unlearn, think, okay, you take the wisdom from that. You take the wisdom from it, and then now you start with your other stage. But the biggest gift that my 13th path gave me with letting go of everything and being willing to start again and being willing to be in the underground was that I came home back to myself. And when I say coming home back to myself, I came back to my spirit. I came back to what was true about it. I got very clear. It doesn't behoove me to hide who I am. Because at that stage, even though externally, when I started, people thought I was successful, there was more that wanted to come through. And it was just like, Barbara, you get to show up in who you are and what you do, invite people in the process, then also allow them to bloom. I'm a natural illuminator, and I was always doing that, but I was hiding. So when you say that I'm an extrovert, Kevin, there was a very long time I spent hiding because I was just like, no, just look at the pictures. You enjoy yourself. I'm going to shoot you. And, it's all about you. And people were like, but what about you? So that was the part where it was just like, okay, homecoming back to self. So
back to self.
Yeah. So it's just showing up as you are.
Yeah.
Human.
So giving back also meant you starting the workshop.
Yeah. So what it is, what happened after I did the Fuji GFX challenge, the Utawala Women Creating Legacies, because I'm also attracted to that. This is why, again, I say I love hearing from people who are doing what they're doing and sharing what they're doing. It's the illumination. So after I did, the project, months later, Fujifilm came in and they were like, we really like who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
Would you like to be an ambassador? And and as much as sometimes you think, ambassador is doing this, but there was the option of you could do workshops, and I just thought, because I saw it, then I was just like, I can get creatives together, because when I started photography, the spaces to be together with other photographers where we could actually just play, I didn't have that. So I just said, I have the power and I can create that with a camera. I'm going to create spaces where people can play, experiment, talk about their work and connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, if I had more, you go through periods where you realize, if I had other people of my peers next to me, I wouldn't have gone through that.
Yeah.
So I just said, I'm going to deliberately create workshops and then connect them to each other so they keep on building.
Are these online workshops or
no,
physical?
Physical.
Nice.
I prefer physical.
Yeah, me too.
I truly, and this is one of the greatest gifts, and I'm very thankful for Fujifilm. Also, so how sometimes you're just like, people say, oh, it's just promoting the brand. And I'm just like, look, I had that camera before I knew them. They were on my vision list. But it was one of those aspects where the greatest gift is when somebody sees what you do and they let you be who you are and let you come together and do that. And the workshops for me, in fact, the last workshop in Uganda, and it was 7:30 p.m. They should have gone by 5, but they got so into their work. And I remember one person coming and saying, so how do you feel? Then I just said, because I just sat back and I just watched them, and I just said, when I see artists just fully embodying who they are,
yeah,
that's
powerful.
And I'm just like, so for me, again, that's what for me enchantment is. Yeah. So again, as I'm saying, you move through periods and you realize we have so much to give and so much to share. And sometimes it's not about, oh, I don't have the money, but I have the space to listen, I have the space to talk, I have the space to allow you or to be like, amplify yourself. There's no, and I always say in my workshops, I tell everyone there are no mistakes here. There are no mistakes, because everywhere in the world people will want to critique you and be like, no, you should do it like this. I'm just like, there's something sacred coming through you. And even when I created the Utawala outfit, it's just a section of, if you think about it, if all of us were in the studio and we held our hands like this, we're stronger together this way. So getting to do that and be like, oh my gosh.
You know, it's interesting you put it like that, because for a young artist listening to you right now, first of all, probably they're excited about joining your workshop, and they should, and we'll tell you how you should do that. But then they're saying, damn, like, Barbara, it is so hard for me to be authentic. You know, I have a lot of fears going on and all these other things, right? So from your, because I'm sure you've noticed a pattern. From your students, should I say the people you work with?
I'm not going to call them students, because I also say in life, I'm also a student.
True.
But I'm also you're a master student and teacher all at the same time.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that hinders, or should I say slows down these amazing folks from achieving their full potential?
Performing for other people. And I get it. So, and unfortunately, I get it, because this is the world we live in, and because the quickest way sometimes to get seen is online, so you must perform. But it doesn't have to be about performance, because sometimes now when you see somebody has gotten viral for this, I remember a workshop I did, and I remember, because I had an idea, I wanted to show them how to create work, because one of the ways I got good was I would create my own shoots and I'd do them my own way. And that made me stronger. So I was going to teach them how to do this. So when I was getting the team together, I remember talking to one person. I said, okay, we want to take aspects of some of your, because I always do that. Because I always tell people, look, you can get anything from anywhere and create something magical. Then he was just like, no, I want to create something new because I want to trend.
What?
Like, but for me, trending is like so fickle. But I understand it and I get it. And I get it. So I cannot, because I was just like, everybody deserves to be seen and to get that feeling if they wanted to do it. But I also say, this is why I'm stressing. Yes, you can trend, you can want to be famous, you can take the scripts, but please understand, no matter what you do, you cannot automate your creativity. Yeah, you have to create and flow with your own natural rhythm, but you have to also discover that for yourself. Are you willing to be disliked? Are you willing to be invisible and unknown for a while? Are you willing to take the long game? This is now where people sometimes go like this. And that's why sometimes I say, but that separates the greats from this. If you're saying you want to be at the Olympics, so you have to prepare for all those years. So if you think about your craft as a long-term relationship or the Olympics, it's not going to be immediate. There will be instances you will get instant gratification. Excellent. But if you truly, truly want to be the best you that even you do not know how you could be, understand you're going to fail over and over again.
You're gonna have to fail, yeah.
You will.
It's like it's like the gods decided.
You will.
That's the path.
Get comfortable with failure.
Yeah, that's so scary, man. Hey.
Get comfortable with not being liked. Get comfortable with being criticized. But the thing is to say to let it will hurt. Yeah, it will hurt sometimes, and sometimes you'll be like.
Let me ask you, what's the importance of joining a community like yours? For folks who are solo missioning out here, then they're into themselves, and they're creating good stuff, but there's levels to this thing, I'm sure. Yeah.
I like creating community for.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say a thing with enchantment, just like I've said. I am a rebel, and I like seeing rebellion in creativity, and that's the rebellion we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Where you can be your best you, and I can't tell you to be your best you because it'll come out and you'll be like, I was friends with Olivia before I knew she could sing. Then she just mentioned it, and I was just like, Allah.
All this time you didn't tell me.
Yes. Then she comes out, then I'm just like, hush. And then you being one of those friends, now you sit and you're just like, because you do need supporters.
Yeah, you do.
And it's not about, so again, there was this thing going on that apparently we're a culture that celebrates mediocrity a lot.
Well, yeah.
And
do you think that's true though? If you look at the people we've made famous.
I'm not going to point, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point to that, but all I can say is because everybody has big visionary dreams. Big visionary dreams demand also big, bold, focused devotion and building in the dark. Yes? So if you want to be above the level of someone else, understand that's also going to take work from you. Yeah? I always love it sometimes when you see artists coming out, with stuff like, or I'm just going to see someone like Beyonce, like, and you'll hear people talking to them, but you're just like, but the work ethic. Yeah? You doing your, Olivia, you doing your album and your work and getting yourself to where you are, your money conversation, your money matters, showing up right now. We're working together. It takes work.
It does.
A lot of invisible hard work, and people don't realize that. But the biggest work, again, I can say it's with you and you. That's the one, because you can't run away from it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so final 2 questions. For guys who, put their gifts on a shelf. Ali Rudi Jobo. He has to live with dignity,
Yeah.
He's got a family.
Yeah.
But, he's truly an artist, and he knows it, and his people know.
Yeah.
But, Kenya is Kenya, Bana. This experience of ours is very... it can be such a downer.
Hi.
Yeah, so do you think it's possible for artists who kind of gave their work a pause to get back into it, even if now they've aged?
It is absolutely possible for them to get back to it.
Yeah.
The fact that, again, as I'm saying, I redid a project I had started 10 years.
Yeah.
But I got to do it in a new way. Then there's also a time when I was really going through it. I could not touch a camera. I was painting. I was doing other craft. That's why I became transmedia, because I allowed other craft to come in, and I didn't put expectations on it to monetize it.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But again, as I'm saying, I get it. But you can put things on a shelf. Someone like my dad, and I remember he had always wanted to be a journalist. But you see, he writes. He wrote his book. He wrote the family history.
Yeah.
I say my dad was an excellent writer. As a photographer, I also write film and stories, but as a photographer, I'm writing with light. So I get the writing bit. But I do remember watching him and also watching other people. And, I've gotten comments before also from people I was in school with, and they're just like, you are so brave. You followed what you wanted to do. And part of me was just like, but how could I not do it?
Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on incomplete work? Yeah, say, for example, you started writing a book 10 years ago.
Yes.
You've never completed it for whatever reason. Yeah. At what point should an artist know that, you know what, let me just let this album go, this book, this painting, and hop on to the next? Because my thing is, when I look around, even in this country, a lot of incomplete projects.
Yeah.
And some for a legit reason.
Yes.
But some, maybe folks got distracted.
Yeah.
So how do you know
When it's not.
When to not pursue it further. Let it go. Or, the whole, because I feel like sometimes it can also mess you up as an artist. You're thinking, man, I never finish my work. I'm not a reliable. Yeah, so this is a conversation that I've had with some people. Yeah, and they say, Kev, you get me, I can't handle, I have a pile of incomplete work. And I'm just like, bro, so you just let them go. But then they're saying, So I don't know what your thoughts are with regards to that.
I would say even if it's one, start with one and finish it, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
True.
One of the things I always say is create dirty. I say be dirty, be messy. Just do at least one thing. This is now why you see where I say do work for yourself.
Yeah.
So that you also... And also this thing about completeness. Is it really complete, Kevin? Is it? Because it's not just about the work, it's also about you.
Yeah.
And while you're still alive, the work is still going on. Whether or not you're touching the actual thing, the work is happening. But I get that sometimes there's things on a liminal space and you're just like, so you see, even with the Utawala, I was just like, yes, I'm done. But what it was I was done being the person who was that. But now in this new stage of being, I could actually take that project and finish it the way it needed to be done. And it's not to say that it's finished.
Yeah.
Because I remember I started even then after the grant, and I said, yeah, it can go further. And I said, the project told me, wait. And now we're having the exhibition.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful because now I can get to share those pictures with the ladies who did the first round.
Yeah.
But also still there's a chance for it to continue traveling because the whole idea for it was a traveling project.
Okay.
But sometimes some projects are actually not about the work, but about the process and the practice, about who you are and what they turn you into it. So sometimes it's not about the thing itself, it's about you and the process and how you're actually showing up in the world.
Jeez.
That's the work.
I love it. So talk about this exhibition happening on the 21st of this month, next week.
Yes.
Talk about which day? Thursday, yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So the name of the exhibition, it's a transmedia exhibition. There's a difference between multidisciplinary and transmedia. Multidisciplinary is just one thing, and it's just a collection of things from that one thing. Transmedia is when you allow world building to evolve into what you're doing. Everything is connected, but it's world building. That's why, sometimes when they say Marvel, then they have this. That is transmedia. So the 13th path allowed me to move from photography and to venture into all these other spaces. And hierophany means to show, to reveal the sacred. Yeah. So showing and revealing the sacred is not necessarily about, it's that something godly, but it's just about the essence of life.
Yeah.
Hauntings and homecoming hauntings, we are all haunted by something. And hauntings can be a great remembrance. So even when you're talking about work that you've left on the shelf, remember the work that I'd left on the shelf that came back to me? Yeah. The visions of who I wanted to be when I was young, because there's also this beautiful thing when I looked back on how I started photography sometimes, how you're just like, you are much bold and audacious back then. And there's a time when you go through life hitting you so hard, you forget about that. You even forget about how to imagine. So one of the things I say enchantment is about imagination activism, where you're telling people, please, we need those ideas, we need that creativity. There are different ways in which politically, socially, culturally we can do the work. Even when we're talking about AI and even when you're talking about coding, you know how the way the brain works, and I'm just like, please, bring it. Yeah? So hauntings, whatever is haunting you that you're carrying, and sometimes it's things that come with you that came through somebody else. Be willing sometimes to be like, I can face through this and go in. Homecoming, not necessarily a space or a place, but to who you are and how you show up into the world.
Yeah.
So that's what the exhibition about. Technically, I'm going to say it's a celebration of an ending also and a beginning. And this is now why also the workshop, thank you Fujifilm again for supporting that, called Synthesis. So I'm showing people how you can take elements of things, sometimes things you thought that were dead, or sometimes seeds that never sprouted, and how you can utilize those elements within your own life, and also how you can recognize where you are, because we are always at different parts and stages of life. One of the reasons I called my 10-year creative anthology project, because I said, I'm going to do it all. Like, there'll be projects within this, play, film. Like, you know how you're just like, I can do anything with this. And why it's called 7 breaths, it's because 7 is from alchemy. We all go through 7 stages. You are going through a different stage in life. Olivia, you're going through a different stage in life. Each one of us is. And sometimes they intersect. Yeah. And when I'm talking about soil, again, for me, there's this thing about grounding to earth, about ecological awareness, understanding and connecting to the how life has a rhythm, how nature has a rhythm. You also have that rhythm.
Yeah.
Shadows, of course, again, as what I'm saying, we all have shadows. It's not to say that it's something we must all repress and that they're wrong, but there's wisdom in the shadow. There's power in taking elements of your shadow and being like, because sometimes, again, when you're talking about silence, you're actually repressing your power. That's a shadow narrative. And right now in the world, we need powerful people. We need people who can speak. And when you've been made voiceless, your voice actually is now dangerous and it's a shadow. So when you flip that, it's just like, oh, how can you take that?
Yeah.
Skin is about intimacy. I feel sometimes we've gone so much digitally, we've forgotten to connect, to listen, to be with each other. And more than ever, we need that kind of community. And we are seeing it. It's happening so much. Yeah. So hierophany, hauntings, and homecomings
Sounds exciting.
is a big
Yeah.
thank you also
Yeah.
to the community, because seen and unseen, even in our conversation, even in our relationships, yes, I've known Olivia more than you and I interact, but then this kind of space we're having right now is sacred. Coming to the exhibition and seeing that you may or not see something that resonates with you.
Right.
But I say sometimes the work can be a living proof. It's like a living archive that anything is possible with you in your life.
I agree.
That you can actually start again. You can actually go through periods and it can start. And that more than ever, who you are and how you show up is so important. Like, we need each other so much.
I love it.
So much.
Thank you so much for sharing your truth with us.
Yes.
Oh, also the workshop.
Yes.
How can guys be a part of it?
Oh, yes. The exhibition will be the opening will be at Alliance Francaise. So there will only, on the opening is the only day I'm going to do it. So there'll be a free film screening and then there'll be a performance by Almasi and also Muhonja and Isukwiti dancers, because we have to bring in the vibe.
You gotta, yeah.
Sound and image for me is very connected. And
Okay.
the performance piece that will be performed will be a song that actually took me through periods in which I would walk when nothing was working. And it's called Elements, and it's earth, air, fire, and water. And it's wonderful because it's a powerful exhibition.
Yeah.
Then also the short film. So that's happening at Alliance Francaise. There are links on MOOC. You can get and you can register. We'll put up the links on my page and everywhere. Or if you go to AF Nairobi, you can find it. Then on Saturday now is Synthesis. I'll put up the registration link on Monday morning at 11 a.m. So you sign up for it.
Yeah.
So now it will be an artist talk, exhibition, work through, and sort of a mini masterclass on we can get to interact with each other. You see, in how we were talking, how sometimes you recognize elements of also where you are in life. It happens very naturally when we're in spaces like that. So that one is supported by Fujifilm, and that one will again be at Alliance Francaise.
What time does it
Saturday,
kick off?
2 p.m. to
Okay.
4:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So your social media, because you said you're gonna post everything over there.
At Barbara Minishi.
At Barbara. So are you big on all platforms or mostly like IG only? I've seen you Kidogo active on IG.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that happened when I went through my phase, and then I left everything, and then I allowed myself to be invisible, because I think we all need to learn that in some kind of a way where you're just like, okay, it's important to be seen.
Yes, it is.
Please,
Yeah.
I'm stressing. It is important to be seen. But with my social media, because I remember learning, I was just like, look, I'm doing most of my work out of social media.
Yes,
I
true.
appreciate meeting all of you and connecting with you on social media when I can. So we will update that and share that with you on the social media. And any other, Olivia, any other places we can share?
She's also on LinkedIn as well.
Nice.
Am I on
Yeah.
Yes,
yes,
you're on
yes,
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And the exhibition will be from the 21st till the 30th.
Yes.
So people can go to Alliance during that period.
Yeah.
But again, as I'm saying, opening day, that will be the special performance. It won't be repeated, but of course, the exhibition is still vibrant. There'll be the photos, there'll be the videos, there'll be a VR section.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
And it's free.
yeah, Yes, it's free.
Nice. Yeah, that's yeah.
It's free.
But your work is impeccable. What? Any? I was just, I was even telling my partner, I was just like, yo, look at this girl's work.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive. So that's good stuff. Thank you so much once again for coming through onto Culture Kitchen.
We're cooked. We marinated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how's your weekend usually like? Are you like, what do you usually do for fun? Any aside from creating stuff?
I love it when people ask that, and part of me is just like every day is fun. This is why I also smile when you are saying Saturday I won't be working. Then I'm just like, but when are we not? When are we not doing what we love? So that's also I'm going to say it's the gift of creating the life that I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I remember sometimes in the morning I'm walking like one woman. I remember last month. Then I met her. Then we stopped because there was this bird that I saw. It was a hornbill, and she's like, "What?" And I said. Then she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yes." She's like, "You're walking so casually, and it's like 8 a.m. in the morning." Then I'm just like, "This is when I'm thinking, and my ideas are coming through." Then she's like, "But what do you do?"
That's actually interesting. Yeah. But asante sana though for coming through. It's been real. I've really enjoyed my time. Guys, once again, that was KHALIYESA B. Barbara Minishi.
Yes.
She's a photographer and an award-winning photographer and filmmaker. That's what's up, man.
Human, actually. Sometimes people say introduce yourselves, and I'm just like, yo.
Yeah. I'm a spirit having a human experience.
Yes.
I like that.
It is not what I do. It's how I show up.
All right, so we're gonna get back into the music. I love it when we come back. The gray zone is going down right now. I've got a banger. One of my faves, Let It, by Olivia and Ambani.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Olivia has been so chill this evening. No pressure, though. Yeah, no pressure.
I'm here to listen.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, remember the hashtag is After Hours on Spice. And, I'm on the frequency right here in Nairobi, it's 94.4. You are headed to Mombasa, 87.9, and Kisumu is 102.5, Malindi, 97.7, Nakuru, 96.0, and Nyeri, 90.9. This is the home of sugar, spice, and everything nice. Tunikazi.
SpiceFM.